Yes.
Hi, Helen Jones, the Oregonian. Can you tell me what the size of your budget is and how that compares with last year?
Overall, our budget, operating budget, and we try to separate out capital side from the operating side. The operating budget is right around $400 million. Where's Beth?
I'm going to get the 440.
440 operating, so 31 million down last year, offset by some stimulus dollars. Likewise, 27 down. So it is a substantial percentage off from where we've been.
But the operating costs are remaining the same, 440, but for both 2011 as well as 2010?
No, Beth will get you the exact number, but it's been reduced by those amounts that are being proposed for this upcoming budget to be reduced as well.
I guess what I'm wondering is your overall spending expected to go up? Is that what accounts for some of the shortfall?
We have, as I said earlier, certain contractual issues with our union that requires us to be able to expend for cost of living increases, but that is a relatively small portion of that 27 million. Most of that 27 million is direct reduction in the amount of payroll tax we were expecting to receive or the amount of passenger revenue we were expecting to receive. But Beth will can get you the exact numbers.
Fred, the nickel increase is characterized as cost of living. That seems relatively modest when you consider the budget gap. Why not ask people to use the system to pay a little bit more?
Well, I think that's one of the things that I'm expecting to be able to hear from our writing public. If you look across the country, the increases in fare raises, pardon me, I should say, have been generally much more than that. Washington, D.C. is looking at a 25-cent fare increase. Others are looking at 10-cent fare increases, as in New York. That's something that I expect people are going to talk to. It is hard for me, though, to be able to propose that in this tough economy. When people are trying to be able to make ends meet, trying to be able to keep a job that may in fact have had hours cut back, not having any kind of an increase, I think it's reasonable to be able to talk about it at 5 cents, but I would expect that that's something that our riders are going to talk about.
With the addition of the Green Line and West and all of these services, I'm just looking at it how our viewers might see it. They see TriMet growing, adding, getting bigger. Did you bite off more than you could chew or add too much? Or can you make sense for the viewers how all this addition happens and then you're falling short?
Well, first off is that if you look at any corporation, good business in this country, you have to, during tough economic times, you can't just hide and not plan for the future. So certainly we are planning for the future because we know that the economy will turn around and we need to be able to provide transportation to our citizens. A project such as the Green Line, which opened in September, was 10 years in the planning and construction process. And it's not something that when the recession hit that you can just kind of stop and say, oh, shouldn't have done that. It is a part not only of what we should be doing in terms of planning for the future, but it was a long ways along in that process. Third, I think it's critical to be able to recognize that this is the worst recession that's affected this nation since the Great Depression. I don't think anybody would have predicted that it would have been as deep as this or as long or as jobless in recovery, which is really the driving force. So from the standpoint of looking out, yes, we must continue to be able to plan for what this future of our region is going to be. The predictions are still 1 million people coming to this region over the next 25 years. And how do we really accommodate that growth? We need to plan for it, but right now we also need to be able to recognize that the payroll tax and the passenger revenues are down and we need to have a balanced budget.
Are there any reductions to West that you can make in the meantime? It seems like there are a lot of operations maintenance dollars going into that. Could be used for something else?
Well, the West budget is something we always look at, as we have it at all other places. Right now, it's at a minimum level of service. We'd like to be able to, if the economy were stronger, to be able to even see it greater. I think that gives people confidence that they can ride it and can commit to it, as we have seen the riders who just love that service who are on it. Not as many as we'd like to be able to see. But at the moment, we are not proposing to be able to have direct reductions. That's something, obviously, I do expect that the public will comment upon if they would like.
In the bus reductions, is that simply the easiest way to reduce, whereas west you're sort of handcuffed and can't reduce?
Well, if you think about the West Line first, we're running right now 3 trains, 3 trains in the morning, 3 trains in the evening. The choice is, do you take that back to 2? Are there other sorts of things? It doesn't save a lot of money, and yet it's kind of at its minimum level of service. When we're talking about bus and max, to be able to extend the time, the headways from 17 or 15 minutes to 17, or in some cases from 17 up to 20 minutes, is an inconvenience, but still provides a level of service. From my standpoint, that made better sense to be able to do than to be able to actually just flat out eliminate what is already pretty basic service.
Are you worried about any long-term damage from a customer perception standpoint? Taking longer between max trains, less bus service, people are going to get used to finding different ways to get around town besides TriMet.
Well, I think most riders of transit are like me in the terms of my ride. Mine is the 17, that's my commute bus, and it is in fact being extended in terms of, has been in terms of the headways. What we do is we tend to be able to adjust our schedules to take that into account. And although I think all of us would like to have our buses, our max trains to come not just every 15 minutes, but for me, every 10 minutes, maybe every 7 minutes, that kind of quality service. But I think what we find as regular riders are that we can adjust our schedule and work around that bus or train schedule. We are still having, if you think about it on the MAX system between Gateway and downtown Portland, we still have the green line, we have the red line, and the blue line. And even though we're lengthening each of those by a few minutes, that's still a lot of service in that core area. In the more outlying areas, it is less convenient. I'm hopeful that people understand that there isn't a choice given the nature of the economy, and will in fact make those adjustments that I make and I think most other transit riders make.